Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jen Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today bestselling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson. How are you doing today? I am with Jenn Foster, my co-owner of Elite Online Publishing. Hey Jen.
Hey everyone, how's it going today?
Well, we hope you're having a fantastic day and you'll have a fantastic week. So Jen and I were like, okay, we want to do a special podcast and we want to talk about a few things because this is what's happening in our world lately. We are going to be writing a new book, number one. So we wanted some input on that. Number two, we've run across people, who are struggling with mindset. So we wanted to talk about some mindset stuff and the future of business. The Queen just passed away. Things are changing, but in our world of technology, all kinds of new technology keeps coming and happening. So we wanted to kind of get you up to date on that too and saying, hey, here's some action items you can take for your business that will help you stay current. So let's get started, huh, Jen?
Yes, let's get started. And I want to mention right off the bat that we love having you guys comment and leave questions for our podcast because we want to know who you are and why you like listening to us. So we've created a survey so we can find out more about you so we can give you more great content in the future. I think this is season 7 for us for our podcast. And we want to know who our listeners are and how long you've been listening and what you want to hear in the future. So we have a survey that we are going to be putting on. Well, it's going to be on our website. As soon as this is released, it'll be there. It's a survey that you just need to fill out, a Google form with your name. And it shouldn't take more than a minute, just where you found us. And then some of the questions we're going to be talking about today will be also in that survey. So you can go to eliteonlinepublishing.com/survey and we'll put that link up at the end too.
Yeah. All right. So let's start out with some new tech that's made our life easier. So and one of the things people have a problem with is writing copy. Oh my gosh, I got to write that email. I got to write the social media post. And we have found the coolest tool that we love to use. And if you haven't used this yet, we don't make money off it or anything. We don't have an affiliate code or anything like that. We probably should. I don't even know if they offer one, but it's called Jasper. Is it AI or is it IO, Jen?
I think it's AI.
AI. And this is just the coolest thing. So if you're listening to this, go and look it up and you can put any kind of text in there, like you're thinking about something that you want to write. And it gives you 4 new things as examples and it rewrites your text, what you wrote with all this great stuff. We've used it for headlines. We've used it for social media content. We've even used it for some book descriptions, for some ideas.
For blog posts. And I'm just going to be really vulnerable and authentic here and tell you that for the last 2 weeks, I've had someone ask for a recommendation on LinkedIn and I didn't know what to write. So I just went to jasper.ai and I kind of cheated. I copied and pasted somebody else's endorsement and put it in there. And then I changed some of the words and then I clicked the button and it gave me like expanded content of what to say. And then I edited it from there. So it wouldn't sound, of course, like the other person's, but it gave me a start to help me to figure out what I wanted to say for the endorsement.
So it's almost like GPS for content writing, right? Yeah. You put in a location. This is where I want to go. This is what I'm thinking, where I'm going to go. This is the state, the city, the exact location. And then it gives you directions how to get there. So it's kind of like GPS for words. So Jasper AI, and check that out because I think that's just a huge thing that will make your life easier. Then the other hack that I found that I am really has changed my life this week, totally changed my life. I told Jen, you've got to do this on your computer. So you go to your email. My email has so many different junk stuff that comes in it all the time. And it gets me sidetracked, right?
Yeah.
I'm distracted.
Well, and every day we have 60 to 100 new emails of all this stuff.
And sometimes at least half of them, I'm going to say 50% are junk mail, right? Or I want to say junk mail. There might be things that we subscribe to because we want to keep up on the technology. They're marketing things, publishing things, and those are great too. But when you're trying to focus on, my client just sent me an email and I got all this other stuff I'm trying to look through. So this is a hack that you go into your email and you search the word unsubscribe, and then it pulls up all the things you're subscribed to. And then you hit the filter button and you create a filter for it. So you hover over wherever it is on your email for the filter button, and you create a filter for it, and you create a folder for it. So anything that has unsubscribe on it, you can create a folder for it. All goes in there. It's not in your inbox anymore. It doesn't show up. So you have to click, don't show up in my inbox, and then create that filter and the folder for it. Jen goes, I almost felt like I wasn't loved today because
Well, usually you log into your email and you're like, oh, I am so overwhelmed. I've got like 60 emails and it's barely 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever, 9 a.m. when I start working. And a lot of the emails came in at 4, 5, 6, 7 because of Eastern time. I'm Mountain time. And you feel overwhelmed with all the emails. But then now, because they're moved into the folder, the subscriptions, all of my subscriptions are in that folder. Now I log in and I'm like, oh, I barely have 20 emails. Maybe, am I getting emails? Is my email working? Maybe I'm not as loved. Like, don't have as much work.
What's cool about it though, it's like you didn't lose any of those emails. You didn't delete them all. So you can go in that folder. So what I found is I take like 5 minutes, I go through the folder and I scan it of all of them and see which ones that are relevant that I do want to look at, like, marketing or new technology or something that I want to see. I just go in there and it was so much more efficient. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, and that takes you back to headlines. If you don't have the right headline for your email, if you do have a subscription newsletter or a subscription based, funnel system or something where people are sending you're sending lots of emails to people. If you don't have a good headline, we're not going to open it. So you might maybe try using that Jasper to get your headline.
The subject line. Yeah. That's good. That was a good segue into that.
Yeah.
So those are my top two technologies, I think, for this week that I think anybody in any business could use. Right.
Yes. Yeah, we learned some really great tech on the podcast before this one. If you haven't listened to the cryptocurrency with Jeff, go look at that, because I learned some valuable stuff on there that I'm going to be implementing, which is the Coinbase commerce we're going to be accepting crypto. So if you want to publish your book and pay with crypto, we're going to be accepting that. And then the Coinbase, the Coin Ledger .io, I want to take a look at that too. But the other cool thing that I learned this week, which we're going to be implementing for our authors for advanced reader copies. If you don't know what an ARC book is, an advanced reader copy, it's if you're special enough to get an advanced reader copy from an author, you get to read the book before anyone else, before it's even published. And we just learned a new tool where they can read the book online and they can just scroll through the book like it's a real book, but you're on the internet. So we're excited to use that too.
Yeah. So it's called a Flipbook. If you've ever seen those, I've seen those before, but we were hesitant, like, well, how do we use that? And then we really dove deep into it. We're like, oh, these are amazing. So we're going to offer Flipbooks for our clients for advanced reader copies, and they can live on their website too. And it's hard to say, well, what is that Flipbook? But you'll Google it and you'll see what a Flipbook is. It's really
actually, when you fill out the survey, if you go to eliteonlinepublishing.com/survey and fill it out, you'll get a link to our podcast authorized book, and it will be a Flipbook. So you can just go ahead and read that right online, and you can see exactly what a Flipbook is.
So cool. All right. Keeping up with the future of publishing, future of business. We've done a book that's an NFT that we did for an author. And then we're doing some of the books that we already have out. We're turning them into NFTs. Talk about that, Jen, a little bit.
Yeah. So we recently, in the last couple months, redid the covers for our Life Story Starter and our Accomplishment and Success Story Starter. These are two books that help you write. They help you to write your life story. You can actually interview your parents or grandparents and ask them questions about their life, so you can get the backstory of when they were child and teenage years and all of that. And so the Life Legacy Story Starter, as well as the Success Story Starter, we have brand new covers for those, and they're actually selling really well. We're really excited. We have them published and submitted, distributed all over anywhere books are sold. So you can go buy those where you like to buy books. But we're turning those into an NFT. So we have them in audiobook already, hardback, paperback, ebook, but we wanted to do an NFT. So we're going to be publishing, it's in the process, probably going to be in the next month or so, where you can go and purchase a copy of the Life Story Starter as an NFT. And so it'll have a special cover different than the other covers, but it'll be more like an NFT art cover. And then you'll have the utility or the smart contract that you own that ebook, and you'll be able to open the ebook and read it. And it's through an app. And so we'll be announcing that when it goes live.
And what's the advantage, I would say? So why would I buy the book as an NFT when I could just buy it on Amazon with one click? So the answer to that is we're going to be coming up with some intellectual property that'll be tied to the book. There may be some videos that we create that help you write your story or publish. So there's going to be some intellectual property bonuses that'll come with that book and that NFT in a smart contract, where the regular book won't have that. And that can also be used down the future. Like if Jenn and I have a mastermind or something, you can use that NFT as a ticket to events that we may have down the road. So those are the ways that you can use it. And we're really diving deep into, how to use NFTs for authors and book publishing. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on that, please let us know, comment, or send us a private message, because we would love to hear your input of how you think an NFT could be used for authors or for your business. Any business we're interested in, how you think an NFT and smart contract can be used for that.
Yes. And I love that. And, the thing about new technology is you really have to have a mindset of change, and you have to be able to pivot and roll with the way changes are, right? If we go back to the internet, 90, whenever it was it 96, 94, somewhere in between there, when the internet came out, if you weren't like, at first, everyone was kind of like, I don't know, that seems weird. Why would I go on there? I remember David Letterman saying something like, well, why would you want to listen to the radio on the internet when you can just listen to the radio? And the person talking was actually, I think, Microsoft, Bill Gates. Was it Bill Gates or Steve Jobs? I think it was Bill Gates.
I don't know.
Somebody was talking about, interviewed by David Letterman, and they were saying, well, it's going to be streaming live on the internet, the radio, like that. It's going to be, I think it was a football game. And David Letterman was like, well, why would I just turn on the radio? And he didn't understand how the internet worked. So you really have to learn and change and grow with how technology is moving, and always be like, we like to be on the cutting edge learning about these things. And that's why we love the Elite Expert Insider podcast, because we can interview experts about this and learn. But you have to have a good mindset for that. So Melanie, how do you get into a good mindset when you're kind of in a slump, or you feel like, oh, I don't want to have to learn something new?
It's funny that you say that. I have a friend of mine, he was going through like a rough patch, and he says, Melanie, how do you stay so positive? And I said, you know what? I start my day every day when I wake up, and I say, today's going to be a great day. So I already announce it and say it. So every time he calls me, he goes, it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day.
Right.
So that's part of it, but you're trying to convince yourself, or just know that you're walking in that positive energy and being open to change. So instead of life happening to you, it's happening for you, is a lot of things. So in any business, in our business too, things don't always go the way you want them to. Amazon changes their algorithms, or they change what they're doing. And so you have to shift and pivot or use new tools. And so we always ask the question for us in our business is, okay, how can we have this situation help us improve what we do and do it better? Is there new technology we can use so this doesn't happen again? Is there a new process that we can do so it doesn't happen again? So, and then we celebrate afterwards. We're like, wow, this was crummy, whatever the thing was that happened, but now look at it. It has propelled us to take action that we wouldn't have otherwise to do things. And I kind of use, COVID was so sucky. But so many businesses were not embracing all the technology they had and being online. So they had to shift or die, right? To have online ordering and delivery, home delivery.
And make a window on the side of their, restaurant or their bar or whatever. You drive up.
Yeah. Because there were restaurants that are like, oh, I don't need DoorDash. I don't need Uber Eats. I don't need to do any of that. And then they're like, oh my gosh, I do. They were forced to be more tech savvy with their company. So I had even told my son the other day, I said, well, if you imagined that this type of revenue that you have from what's one revenue stream went away, then what would you do? Because I'm trying to get him to look at other revenue streams. He's like, well, I don't really have to, because I have this revenue stream. And I go, yeah, until you don't. Right?
Yeah.
Because anything can happen. So if you put that in your mind now and prepare for the future and say, well, if this isn't here, what would I do and how would I prepare for it? It's like getting ready in Houston. We have hurricanes. So being ready for the hurricane before the hurricane happens. So we kind of walk through that process in our team meetings and different things. Okay, how can we shift if this or this and this happens? How do we prepare for that? And
Yeah.
mhm.
I think it's true. Like you can totally use the weather as an example. Even look, I mean, Houston was hit hard a lot. You guys had
Yeah.
a freeze last year too, or the
Yeah.
year before, whatever it was. And so that I like how Melanie is always saying in our company, how can we learn from that? So, even just the weather situation, how can you learn from if all of a sudden weird things happen and you're freezing in where you normally have 100-degree weather, right?
Mhm.
If you're freezing, well, now maybe have a couple sweaters in your house. Maybe have a couple space heaters, have a couple things. If you have no electricity, how are you going to get warm? Have some wood, figure out different ways,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And the same thing happens with your business. So you kind of have to have those extra baskets, or what would you do if this happened?
Mhm.
And I think the pandemic for sure helped us with thinking those kind of things. But when all those things happen, and it is kind of hard sometimes when you're in the low place to say,
Yeah.
how can I learn from this? Kind of it's hard to do that. So
Yeah.
one of my favorite people that I learned from is Tony Robbins. And he says you have to get in a different state. And that meaning a different state of mind, a different state of your body. So a lot of times when you're feeling low and you've had this, bad thing happen to you, whatever it was, you can't expect yourself, your body, and your mind to feel better by being in the same place, meaning physically and mentally, that you are now. So he always has you do your arm movements, like up and down, breathing really heavy, because that changes your heart rate. It changes your body, your physical state, and will also change your mind. So sometimes when I'm not feeling too good, I'll do, 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 20 of those bursts of your hand and get breathing and get your heart rate going. Or you can do jumping jacks if you don't like doing those. And then listening to something motivational, whether it's music, a YouTube video of Tony Robbins telling you, hey, you can change your mind. You have the power. That's, really motivational. Or just listening to your favorite person on YouTube, or listening to an audiobook that will totally change your state of your mind.
Yeah. And I find being grateful too for even little things, just the littlest things. I mean, I was grateful the other day that my pillowcase felt so good and my pillow felt so good on my bed. I'm like, because I had slept in some crummy beds recently, and I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful I'm in my own bed and my own pillows, and, and just starting your day with that gratitude makes a big difference.
Yeah, I was going to say something about the gratitude part, because I think, there's a lot of people who have religion or faith and they'll pray morning and night, but there's a lot of people who don't have that, and maybe they meditate or maybe they do other things. But just the small practice of every night before you go to bed to list even just 3 things that you're grateful for, or writing them down. I was challenged one time that you had to write, I think it was 50 things every night. So I had a gratitude journal that I had to come up with 50 things, and you had to number them.
Yeah.
And you had to come up with 50 things you're grateful for. And it couldn't be the same things every day. So you had to come up with all that. And then, of course, in the morning when you wake up, being, this is going to be a great day, thinking about positive things and thinking of what are the 3 things you're grateful for. As you're getting ready or in the shower, like, what are those things? Are you grateful that you even have hot water for a shower? A lot of people
That made me think of, moms, parents, but when their kids are driving them crazy and you get in that vortex of, oh my kid, everything he does is wrong and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I remember I had started this thing because I was kind of in that zone. My kids were in middle school and they were just at that age, right? So instead of everything, oh my gosh, they didn't pick up again, they didn't do this again, I just started every day. I had to say, I literally wrote it down, 3 things that they did great that day, or that even if it was small, oh, they put their dish in the dishwasher today, they did this, and I would write it down. And then I made it into a little journal and I gave it to them at the end of the year. So I did it for that. And they're like, wow, Mom, I didn't realize I did all this stuff. That's pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah. And you can do that with the spouse too, because sometimes your spouse is driving you crazy. So if you start looking at all the things they do right versus the things they do wrong.
Well, let's ask this question to our audience, and let's shift into Melanie and I are writing a book that we want to publish, a new book. We usually publish one every year. And so we wanted to see what kind of a book you guys want to have, because we've written over, I think, 16 books each or together. Some of them are co-authored books, and we want to know, what do you want this book to be about? Because we could go a lot of different directions. So we could do a book about book publishing, how to publish a book. What were some of the other ones, Melanie?
A book about book marketing, how to market your book after it's published, a book about how to write your book, or a combination of writing and publishing and marketing. So I think the three that we were thinking of is publishing, marketing, or writing your book.
Yeah. And we could also do one on the future of publishing, like cryptocurrency type NFT.
Yeah, that's true. How to
book.
make your book an NFT. That would be a good book too.
So those four different choices we're going to have in the survey. So please vote and let us know so we can create the best book at the best value.
Well, thanks for stopping by. And if you're looking to write your story, use your book as a marketing tool, contact us at Elite Online Publishing, hit that submission button, and we'll see if you're a good fit for us. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a fantastic week.
See you next time, or listen to you next time. Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.